Hey, Neil, can you limit the Leafs more than you did last night as a team, or is that about the best you can do against that powerhouse?
I think we can certainly limit their chances a little bit more. Obviously, they have a high octane offense and really good forwards, and they're going to get chances. That's just the way it is. But we can certainly limit the chances.
Go next to Mike McIntyre from the Winnipeg Free Press. Go ahead, Mike.
Thanks, Gregor. Hi, Neil. Neil, how close attention are you paying to the NHL defenseman scoring race? I'm just looking right now. There's only 3 guys in the whole league that have more than your 21 points: Victor Hedman, Jeff Petrie, and Quinn Hughes. Pretty good company. Is that something you keep an eye on at all?
To be honest, that's the first time I've heard that I was up there, but I knew I was somewhere in that vicinity. But no, it's not a primary focus of mine. Obviously, it's nice to have those individual accolades, but at the end of the day, it's about getting 2 points and pushing our way to the standings.
Back to Paul Friesen from the Sun. Go ahead, Paul.
I'm actually a bit surprised you don't pay more attention to that. Don't all defensemen kind of keep an eye on that race?
Maybe some do. I mean, like I said, I knew I was in the vicinity, but I'm not refreshing the page after every game. Maybe I'll check it once in a while, but not a primary focus of mine.
Back to Mike McIntyre from the Free Press. Go ahead, Mike.
And just, Neil, on the subject of offense from the defense, I was a little surprised to see when Josh scored last night. That's just the 5th goal from a Jets defenseman this year, which I think is right near the bottom of the league. You obviously have some playmakers on the blue line and obviously a lot of big finishers up front. Surprised at all that we maybe haven't seen more goals come from defensemen, or is that not really a concern given the way this team can score?
Yeah, not a huge concern. As a defenseman, our job is to play defense first, obviously, and it's a bonus when we can add to the offense. So certainly we'll be looking to contribute a little more. But as far as goals, I wouldn't say that's a huge concern. I think more so as long as we're creating chances and getting shots through and giving our forwards the best opportunity to score, that's more of a focus for us.
Back to Paul Friesen from the Sun. Go ahead, Paul.
Neil, when you say you think you can limit their chances a little more, what specifically can you guys do better, and what do you plan to do better tomorrow?
I think first and foremost, we got to start from the slot out. We gave up a fair amount of slot chances last night, so we have to work it as a unit of 5, starting with the defensemen and the centers down low in the corners, and then the wingers helping us out when stuff breaks down in the middle. So we start in the slot, limit the chances in the slot, and then push to the outside and go from there.
Go next to Sean Reynolds from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Sean.
Hey, Neil, it's been known for years in hockey circles that teams that seem to know their roles for each individual player, teams that succeed. And I've heard that as a theme come up often with this team. How do you get to be a team like that? And why do you think everyone on this team seems to know their role and have a defined role that contributes to the greater good?
Well, I think it takes time, certainly. And I think you've seen that with some of the veterans that we have on our team. They've been around for a while and they know their roles and they know what they're good at. I think a great example is our so to speak 4th line. Like, those guys are all veteran players and they know how to play and they play the right way, and that goes along with all of our forwards and the rest of our defensemen. It's a veteran group.
Back to Mike McIntyre from the Free Press. Go ahead, Mike.
Neil, tomorrow will mark 1 year to the day when you guys played your last regular season game of last season in Edmonton. I just want to, obviously there'll be a lot of reflecting back on what's happened in the year. Does it seem like a year? Does it seem longer? Does it seem shorter? And do you feel like maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel now, 365 days later?
Yeah, in a way it seems longer, and in other ways it seems shorter, but I think there is a sense of a light at the end of the tunnel, but obviously still have a long ways to go. But boy, what a year it's been. I mean, I still remember being in Edmonton and we kind of heard the news about the NBA shutting down like in the middle of the game. I think in between the second and third period, we heard about that. And obviously after the game, we had our own internal discussions, had no idea what was going on. And for even weeks on after that, had no idea what was going on. So yeah, I guess in that way, it's been long, but we've come a long ways.
Just a couple more for Neil. We'll go back to Sean Reynolds from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Sean.
Neil, clearly you don't focus on the points that much. The fact that you're getting them, are you surprised by that at all? Or another way of asking, I guess, is did you think that you had the capacity to be a player whose name is up with the top defenseman in the league in terms of scoring if you rewind 2 to 3 years ago?
2 to 3 years ago. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like I always had that internal belief. Obviously, when you go through the ups and downs of the season, and then when you hit those downs, you maybe lose that belief a little bit. But ever since coming here, the confidence just kind of growing day by day. So it's been pretty good, and I always credit having good teammates to getting those points, because if you don't have good teammates surrounding you, those points don't happen.
And final question to Paul Friesen from the Sun. Go ahead, Paul.
Just to follow up a bit on Mike's pandemic question, Neil, ESPN had a story about, the mental health struggles that some guys are going through with the isolation of this kind of hockey and apart from family. And how hard has this been on players? Can you quantify that?
Real hard. I think it's underrated in a sense. Like just the day-to-day life. Like, we're not leaving our apartments or our houses. On the road, you're not leaving your hotel room. You're literally sitting in your hotel room for 8-9 hours on end. I mean, it's it's pretty isolated. And not only that, but our families back home, wives and girlfriends, like they're not allowed to leave either. So they're literally just sitting at home. And obviously we understand that from a public health standpoint, but mentally it's been really challenging for everybody.